Hello, this is Joe Pryor with the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City. I just finished up a series of videos to introduce first-time home buyers to the process. We did an overview. We went through a lot of the details, some of the individual details that are very important. But what I want to do now is start a series of updates on short sales. Now, I've done short sale videos before, but a lot has changed. I mean, it's a constantly changing landscape, very fluid, and so I wanted to give you an update. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the term short sale, and again, it can be used in the stock market also, but in real estate, a short sale, which is also known as a pre-foreclosure, is when somebody is in default on their loan, in other words, at least 30 days going forward. The lenders are now looking at doing a foreclosure. And what you do is hire a realtor like myself to do a workout for the mortgage company to accept less than what is owed on the property, and to relieve you of some tax burdens and some particular lawsuit burdens that may come up with deficiencies. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in another video. But what I want to talk about today is the HAFA or HAFA short sale. This is one that started in April of 2010. It started out just for subprime type loans, things that weren't your traditional conventionals, your Fannie and Freddie conventionals, more of those loans that you went in and no docs or anything, no proof that you even had a job type loans. And they expanded it later to include Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae type conventional loans. They're conforming conventionals, as we call them, where you did the standard qualifying for the loan. And what really the government and the Department of the Treasury is really trying to do on this is to speed up the process. Now, there's been plenty of horror stories about short sales, and believe me, I've had a few myself in terms of short sales that have taken a year to accomplish, even with a single mortgage. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that the lenders just hadn't kept up. In other words, all of a sudden they got this huge amount of distressed properties. They didn't have the personnel, they didn't have the manpower, they didn't have the infrastructure, didn't have the programs. But that's been changing, and one of the reasons that HAFA or HAFA was instituted was to make lenders go on a timeline. In other words, where we could close a short sale that was a conventional short sale as long as it didn't have a lot of other problems within, say, a 90-day period of time, which, you know, is a little bit longer than a normal, traditional, non-distressed loan or contract. And there were some issues with it. There were some, as there always is, problems in the field. And what the Department of the Treasury and the government's done is streamline it. Now, we closed one under the old guidelines about a week ago, matter of fact. It wasn't terribly problematic, but there was a little bit more involved in it. Here's the good things about a HAFA short sale. And that's Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative, by the way, HAFA. And number one, it relieves you of any deficiency judgment. Now let me back up a second and just let you know that lenders don't have to participate. This was a voluntary opt-in program, but the major lenders are on board. Wells, Chase, which is the one we closed a week ago, Bank of America, for instance, most of the major lenders are on board with this. And for them, they get a financial incentive for participating, but you get really big incentives, one of which Oklahoma is a deficiency state, like most states of the union. And if you opt into this program and are accepted, then the lender agrees that on a successful short sale, they will not pursue you for their loss. That may be $100,000, for instance, that they can sue you for. And that's number one. That's a relief. Now, there's a second relief that all short sales have, which is that there is no tax judgment whatsoever, no forgiveness of debt income. And that's through the end of 2012 by federal law. So that's one that's always been there for all short sales. But getting rid of the deficiency judgment is a big thing. Putting things on a timeline is a big thing because, you know, I talk to people and they say, well, why hasn't that house sold? It's a really good deal and it's a short sale. Oh, I don't want to do a short sale. I've heard terrible things. Well, I can get you into the program without having a contract, which has been the way it's been in the past. You know, if it took me 90 or 120 days to get a contract, let's say, then I couldn't send in all your documentation in the contract and start the short sale until we had all that done. So we're 4 or 5 months into the process maybe, and that may be too late. With HAFA, we can opt in the beginning. that cuts down on the time because they're processing your paperwork, and all they really need is a contract and an update. And so that makes things a whole lot better. It makes buyers a lot more confident in holding in. A lot of times we have a problem holding buyers in. HAFAs or HAFA short sales, that is really not the case. So that's an advantage. Now, the third advantage is that there's money for junior liens, and this can be a second mortgage. This can be like Discover attaching your house because you owe them money. It can be homeowners associations, which can be a particular problem. You know, when a lender loses, $20,000 or $30,000, yeah, it's a lot of money, but you know, compared to the big thing, big picture, it's really not. But a homeowners association, a couple of $1,000s can mean a whole lot to them when you have 35, 40, 50, 100 houses in the neighborhood. So being able to take money in this program up to $6,000, for instance, and being able to pay those junior liens goes a long way towards solving some other problems. Now, in the case of the one that I closed a week ago, there was a great pleasure that I had that not only did we do all these things, rescuing someone from deficiency, from tax implications, from a further hit on their credit report and maybe of another 150 and 200 points, which was fantastic, allowing them to buy another home in a couple of years as long as they get their credit up. The other thing is I handed him a $3,000 check for the participation. Now that's fantastic. I mean, when I can do that, then I'm giving somebody money to move, or I'm giving them money, or I'm handing them the check. The program is giving this money, and they can put it on a deposit on another home. And in some cases, when your credit gets really down like this, you may have to do a double deposit. So that $3,000 is very important to you. So the one thing I really love about this program is it wins all the way around. They've also streamlined the program about how things can be paid out. There's no income verification anymore, so it encompasses a lot more people than in the past. Now, the only caveat to the program is if you're in that jumbo situation, you know, you're $1 million, you can't be in the HAFA program. It has to be a normal Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or subprime conventional loan. However, in Oklahoma, that can be a $700,000 mortgage. So it's a good program. It works extremely well. It is now starting to expand. The Treasury, by the way, has teeth in it. If there's a problem with this, then I can get a hold of the Treasury and say, look, they opted into the HAFA short sale program and the lender is not adhering to the timeline. They will get the message, believe me, and this has happened. So it gives some teeth to the program, gives some enforcement, which I like quite a bit. So that's my first update on short sales, on conventionals. Get a hold of us if you're in this situation. If you have a conventional loan, you're behind on your payments, it doesn't look like you have the alternatives to refinance or a loan modification, and you really need to do the short sale to avoid foreclosure, let us look at your situation and see if you qualify for the Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative Program. I think it's a great program. We can really help you out. I'll have some more videos about FHA and VA here just coming any moment in terms of their short sale programs. This is Joe Pryor with the Virtual Real Estate Team in Oklahoma City, where we deliver traditional real estate values with the speed of technology.